Bum, ba, bum, ba, bum, bum, ba, bum. You can't come in. We're recording. Please, we only have 11 minutes of film.
Well, I just wanted to know if the PS4 was connected to the internet.
Yeah, should be.
What says it's not?
It should be. Okay. Bum, ba, bum, ba, da, bum. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our newscast. That's right, N.E.W.S. The name of our show, the Nick and Erik Weekly Show. I, of course, am Nick Meyer.
I'm Erik Johnson.
And we'll be walking you through our brand new variety and fantasy football show. Why variety? Because we're going to give you both the facts, some in-depth interviews and looks. We're going to get some outsiders' opinions, and most importantly, we're going to get you everything that you need to know about the XFL. Now, Erik, our first and most important piece of business here is that there has been a shift among the experts in overall choosing a winner of this year's XFL.
That's right. N.E.W.S. research analysts have spent countless hours the past couple of weeks post-draft determining who they think is actually going to be crowned fantasy football champion this year. Now, will it be two-time champion Tom Kirihara? Our research analysts have crunched numbers, and we don't think so. This graph does depict how our analysts thought of Tom's team. As you'll see, in the preseason week 1 and 2, analysts were pretty high on Tom's team, thinking that he might be able to pull off the three-peat or the trifecta. However, you'll notice this is right around the time of the XFL Fantasy Football Draft, and right when Bill Belichick said that he's not sure if Gronk's going to be ready to play. After that, analysts completely lost faith in his team, starting in week 1 for the predictions. And as you can see just from there, it's a general free-fall all the way to the end of the season. The fantasy football futures market has not been very kind to Tom's stock, as it's dropped 35% in the last couple of weeks. Our second report is called From the Sideline, which is going to be a weekly focus on players and their impact, or the impact that it'll have with their week-by-week stats. And the first item that we have for today is Josh Gordon.
Josh Gordon, suspended. This is not news, but since this is carrying from preseason to the season, and this news was handed down just a matter of days ago, we still find that it's relevant here on N.E.W.S. to give you all the facts. Yes, our commissioner has chosen a big, dirty drug addict.
I mean, there's really not much more to say than that, really. Especially when you get a full year suspension, it means that you're a repeat offender, if you're not trustworthy, and you like to smoke weed.
We will be talking to our commissioner next week. Now, the league has not signed off on this. I can't make any promises, but I promise you we will get an interview with the commissioner, and we will get a hard stand on drugs, because this is the news.
And we want answers. The second player on our weekly bit from the sideline is Wes Welker. Breaking news as of today on Tuesday, September 2nd, Wes Welker was suspended 4 games for testing positive for the drug MDMA, which is commonly known in the streets as Molly.
Molly?
Molly. No word yet on Wes Welker of whether he's done an appeal or not, but supposedly it has been caught in his system, and it was not by accident. When you're popping Molly and you start sweating, it's no accident.
You got that. Also heard he was hanging out with Tom Brady, another one of our commissioner's players.
Going to the more meat and bones of the weekly show here, Nick and I are going to go over the weekly matchups. So this is the first week. Everyone's 0-0, clean slate. Everyone is loving who they picked up in the draft, with some few exceptions. But we'll go right ahead into the week-by-week matchups, give our thoughts of who's going to win each one, and maybe a brief reason why. So the first matchup is actually involving myself and Jim Kirihara, who is Gotta Catch Jamal. Very clever name.
I like that name.
Especially since he actually has Jamal Charles, so
correct.
So it works out.
It's nice when you name your team after a player you own.
Right.
Yes.
Who would do that?
I don't know.
And I just looking at the weekly matchup, I gotta hand it to myself. I don't see a way that I lose this game. So I'm gonna say that I win the game, probably like 118 to 110. And then the second matchup, Nick will be taking this one, is going to be James Hagee versus Pat Kirby. Now, Pat Kirby is one of those teams, Nick, that a lot of people weren't feeling after the draft, but ESPN loves his team. Projected at 123.3 to Jamie's 116.6.
Inevitably, I am going to give this one to Pat. I do think that, for reasons unknown, they absolutely love every single person on his team, putting him in double-digit points, and I think it holds true.
I agree. I think Pat's going to pull this one out, and it's not because we have a bias against Jamie. We're professional journalists. We do everything unbiased.
It's true.
It's all strictly facts.
And we don't do drugs.
And research. We don't do drugs.
Yep.
Anymore. Third matchup is going to be between David Long and Ethan Meyer. Now, Ethan Meyer is one of those teams, you just don't know what's going to happen.
You feel like he's going to win by 0.1 points every week.
So Ethan right now has kind of this big upper hand. This is kind of a blowout on paper. So you look at the teams a little bit here. They're loving Jimmy Graham, which they should. He's a fantastic tight end. His running backs are a little bit iffy. That being said, I like Ethan in this matchup just by a little bit. It's not going to be as big of a difference or as big of a lopsided victory than what the ESPN projections are saying, but I think he's going to win probably 110 to 108.
I like it.
And then the fourth matchup is going to be our good friend Sean Kaser versus the back-to-back champion Tom Kirihara.
This is a tough one. Now, Tom Kirihara does have quite a favorable matchup on paper.
Advantages in every spot but defense.
It's true. Now, however, again, as we've seen earlier tonight by our graphs, experts have changed their minds. They are not thinking Tom Kirihara is going to repeat. And why can't it start week 1? I'm going to give this one to Sean Kaser.
Sean Kaser is going to be right there. Aaron Rodgers will have a big game, even though it's against Seattle. And finally, I'm going to do a favor here, and I'm going to do my prediction for my co-host here, my friend Nick Meyer, as he goes up against our other good friend, Erik Geeson, formerly from Alaska, now back in Minnesota. This is actually the closest matchup, prediction-wise, from what ESPN has predicted. Whereas Nick Meyer's at a 105.5 and Erik Geeson's at 106.7. So 1.2 point difference that literally is just a 12-yard catch. So I'm going to go Nick Meyer gets the win at 112 to about 103.
Also, I will put in a side note. I do have Stephen Ridley in, projected at 12 points. Toby Gerhardt on the bench, projected at a meager 6, will actually be starting for me and will probably get around 18 net. So
ESPN hates white running backs.
They just do.
The last match of the week will be between Adam Hagee and our good friend Matt Kirby. Matt Kirby, of course, surprised everyone with the draft with a different drafting strategy. He went straight rookies for the most part. 4 of them on his team.
That was a lot of rookies. Taken really fast. And I actually think that's going to be the deciding factor.
Was that a rookie mistake?
Ooh, I like it. I will give this one over to Adam, though. One, team name is hilarious, and that plays a big factor.
That's true.
All right. Number 2, I do think that there are just too many rookies on that squad.
The one thing I want to kind of make everyone a little bit aware of, though, is that they have Peyton Manning projected at 31.2 points. So if you take that away from his game, it gets to be a lot closer of a matchup.
That's true.
But I agree with you. I think Adam takes this one. That's week 1 predictions. I'm pretty positive we're going to be shooting 100%. Going to week 2.
That is a sure.
So now we want to go into kind of what we got on the plate for next week.
That's right. We would like to keep you guys interested in our show. Again, that is the N.E.W.S, as it comes every week. And most importantly, we are going to be adding segments in and out as voted by the populace, Erik and I. And so we will be going through, and next week we are going to have some guest appearances, like I said earlier, pending league authorization. We will have our commissioner on the show to interview him about the hard facts and what it's like being a commissioner, how he likes his output with the #1 overall pick.
And how he can live with himself drafting a bunch of drug addicts.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Also, next week we'll be adding a fun segment called Celebrity Guest Appearances. And what will happen is I will get 2 random celebrities to join our show via Twitter, and they will weigh in on one particular matchup, or 2 matchups, one each, as far as who they believe will win. So look forward to that. We got a couple of hot celebs on the list.
It's true, we really do. Another new segment that we're going to be adding is called the Outsider's Opinion, where we will be getting an outside expert to look at our league. They're going to analyze our preseason power rankings and make sure that things are accurate. Speaking of those rankings, here's Erik to fill us in on our preseason power rankings for the 2014 XFL.
So here at N.E.W.S, our preseason rankings are based on a couple of different things. Number 1, it goes based on the strength of your draft, and then through various calculations and logarithms, our research analysts are able to really depict a pretty accurate depiction as far as like what the end of the season will actually look like. Now again, we cannot stress this enough. We are a professional network here at N.E.W.S, and we don't carry any biases towards any ranking that we might do. Everything that we say is strictly professional. Now that being said, here's the preseason rankings. And as you can see, myself and Nick, oddly enough, tied for first place. meaning that we're going to finish the season probably 12-1. And then you can see the rest of the list, and the consensus pick for dead last, number 12, unfortunately, it is Tom Kirihara. They don't have him picked to actually make the playoffs or even really win any games.
I know.
But that's the preseason rankings. Next week we will dive into kind of a recap of week 1, what happened. Bring on some of our new segments that we're excited about. We might even get a new studio. We're in our new studio this week, but we might be seeing us in a new studio next week as well.
And that'll do it for this week. I'm Nick Meyer.
I'm Erik Johnson.
We'll see you
Next
on Sunday.
Let's do it again.
I'm Nick Meyer.
And I'm Erik Johnson.
And we'll see you
next week. Good luck, guys.
Bum 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 bum. Okay. Bum bum bum.